Hello, New Life. It is my goal to come to you at least a couple of times a month just to give you an update on how we are doing and what we're doing as a church. You know, through the pandemic, what we have come to know as a church, what we've come to experience about church has changed. Many people are watching online, and even those who are coming to church are spaced out and we're wearing masks. And quite frankly, we don't know if this is the new normal, or we don't know if this is some variation of what a new normal will look like in the church. But the one thing that we do know is that we have to continue to do the things that Jesus Christ has called us to do as a church. You know, for us, we've called ourselves an Acts 2 church. That has always been who we are, what we've tried to be, our philosophy, our vision. And you know what we said about an Acts 2 church is that we've always said the church is more about the people than the building. The building is great. This is where we gather for corporate worship. But at the end of the day, the Acts 2 church is more about who we are and what we are and how we live that out as people of God. And so this year, our emphasis and our theme is really based on Acts chapter 2. And what I want to challenge you on is, as we've always said, this is who we are as a church. Now is the opportunity to really live that out. What does it mean to live out the principles of Acts chapter 2 when we can't base it on the programs, we can't base it on the physical location? Now we have to live that out. We have to live that out every day, the vision and values of Acts chapter 2. And so with that in mind, our emphasis, our theme, our vision this year that I, as well as the staff and the leaders, will lead the church this year, it's around the theme, Acts chapter 2, a church without walls. Acts chapter 2, church without walls. And everything that we do this year is going to be built around that theme, being an Acts chapter 2 church, meaning we want to be a church without walls, okay? And as we do that, we're saying there are four pathways. There are going to be four pathways that will lead us to accomplishing this. Not in any particular order of priority, but four pathways that's going to lead us to accomplishing this vision. One, we want to reach our communities. Two, we want to serve one another. Three, we want to grow in our faith. And four, we want to connect as members. No particular order, but those are the four pathways that we're going to emphasize that's going to lead us into this vision of being a church without walls. And everything we do this year is going to tie into one of those. Are we growing in our faith? Are we serving? Are we connecting as members? And you're going to hear us talk about connecting and huddles and why it's so important for us to connect as a church. Are we reaching our communities? This last week, we gave out almost 300 boxes of food. Well, that accomplished reaching our communities, but then it also accomplished us serving because we had a lot of volunteers to come out and serve a few weeks ago. So that's going to be our emphasis. And every time I come before you, I'm going to be challenging you and asking you to join us in this vision of being a church without walls. And I'm going to be challenging you and asking you to join us in participating in one of the four pathways that's going to lead us to accomplishing this vision. Reaching our communities, serving one another, growing in our faith, and connecting as members. So once again, I am so excited to just lead, to be your pastor, to be your shepherd. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we're continuing to do and we're continuing to be the church that God has called us to do and the church that God has called us to be. God bless you. Be safe and be wise.